Are we good? Not yet. Zembak. And there we go. 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 Right, let's try and adjust that. Let's get that right. And we laptop live. Sanjit says, good evening. I get confused where to look for comments when I'm on my laptop. And hopefully a better feed this evening. Prefer to do a laptop now. Shamini says, hi everyone in KC. Good evening. Good evening. Let's round up the posse and see where it takes us. Natalie Singh says, good evening. And Janice Pillay from Cape Town. Right, all our regulars. Shamini from Randburg. Jackie, who's done the EFT today? No general knowledge quiz, nothing today. We're talking education. Hard topic. Let's got 30 minutes and we'll fucking see where we go with this. Where we left off this morning with the shambles of the Department of Basic Education and the fuck up feed on TV and all that shit there. And I was raving this morning. Yeah, I was really upset. Good evening, Kritika, Rajan, Anderson Naika. Anderson, man. Where the fuck you get the name Anderson from? Naresh Sarup. Haven't heard that surname. Kevin Gavin again says good evening, and Dino Armugam says good evening and welcome. It's KC Live, Lockdown Live, day number 34. We have the 29th of April. We're 1 day away from Mark Batten. Good evening. Danny Modley, good evening from the gang. That's Niroshni there and Yugeshin. No quiz today. We're not doing quiz today. We're going to. I decided to just give a bit more thought and introspection and comments on Department of Basic Education. Jackie is concerned that there's no quiz. Jackie, I will use your money for tomorrow's quiz. Your deposit you did, I will use it for tomorrow. So don't feel bad. We don't forfeit your money. It goes till tomorrow. Kritika was sharp with that one there. If you have the deposit, yes. And before seeing Kritika's comment, I already said I will carry it over for tomorrow. Right. Good afternoon and good evening, and welcome to me, KC Live. Nolin Neithenathan and Anderson says got his name after a jockey. Well, must have been a good ride there. It's a fun time. Yeah, I know it's fun time, but too bad I had a bottle for Lavin for 5 points. But let's get straight into it, by the way. Let me just add a couple of other things I want to say. By the way, today I decided that I have, and you guys know my situation, right? Well enough. I didn't fear of letting my situation go out there, so others can, in the same position, can identify. Right. So basically, government has sent out lots of help measures for the general public and businesses suffering. UIF and TERS. Basically, UIF. I'm a self-made businessman. I can. Naresh, we can discuss the schools issue now. That's the main topic of discussion. But I'll just discuss the issue with UIF and TERS, Temporary Employment Employee Relief Scheme. I've left that aside. I've kicked it out. I've sent my application through. They say 10 days. If you don't get a response, then you don't fucking get a response, right? That's it. That's number one. There, I've written that off in terms of funding or help. I've also heard from my accountant and other guys that UIF have paid. For example, if you're a company and you make an application on behalf of your staff, you got 10 staff. They've paid 4 staff. They pay 4, and the rest they don't know. That's what they've done. In terms of that, they paid 4. They left the rest. And in terms of UIF, I'm not gonna fucking get anything there. So I've just ditched that. I've left it. In fact, I've always had that feeling that I'm a waste of my fucking time. And then the Department of Education, DOE, the SMME. Did you open the bottle? The SMME money. You all heard this morning the funds are getting depleted. And then the minister there, I think it's the minister there, said that they're using triple BEE what qualifications or status or criteria to give out that money. And here's the thing I'll tell you now, which today I decided, fuck it, I'm not applying for any of those funds. All I need to do is make it happen for myself. So today I go on to Department of, on the SMME site. I get to the point where I think I can use that one, debt relief structure for me. Whole lot of criteria there that you must comply with. And the main one there for me was management records. Management records, basically, or your books, your finances. Now, 350 coming away, applied. So let me tell you why I've ditched that as well. I'm wasting fucking time. I'd rather spend time selling my mask and making proper money than spending hours on this fucking thing. Fuck all. First thing to know is triple BEE is going to be right. I'm not black enough. I don't think I'll get that. Number one. Number two, asking for management records, and your basically your financials. Now, most people are 1 year behind with the financials or 2 year behind with the financials. Not everyone up to date. Okay, so they ask for management records. You could do management records. Now, here's the right. So my accountant says to me, no problem, dude. I can do your management records, but you're gonna pay me, and you're gonna pay me in advance. Now he says most financial guys are working on that principle there to be paid in advance. Now here's the other thing. I can't afford to pay my financial guy. I've got an account with him already for my taxes and whatever. I can't afford to pay him, so I'll stop paying him because I got no money. Now to get my money, I must pay him money to do my financial records, to submit it in the hope that I can get some fucking money. Can you guys tell me which one should I do? So here's a real life story. Here's me. I'm a real person. I'm in it, and I'm telling you. So today I tried to apply to for the SME fund, which I've been putting off, by the way, because I knew the fucking fuck up it's going to be. Firstly, the funds are all going. Secondly, it's triple BEE, right? Now there's a whole list of documents. Well, most of it I can get, right, but it doesn't not easy. But the management records, financial management records. Call my accountant. Says no problem, dude. Take a week to do that. I can get it for you, but you're gonna pay the backlog of money that you owe me. I won't charge you for this one. I'll pay the backlog. That's about 15 grand I gotta pay him, right? In the hope that I get this financing. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? So I'm a real person telling you that I've left it. I've decided it's a waste of my fucking time and my energy. The DG does not know what he is doing. Conflicting statements on social distancing. That will come to education story. That's a big topic for discussion. I want to rant about why I'm moving away from applying for any sort of funding. By the way, the best news I got today was from the bank FNB. I phoned my bank manager to stop my debit orders, to not pay these cunts who I owe money to try and save my money. And she says to me, okay, what do you for the bank loan? FNB, obviously. So if I have, this is what I think it is, if I have about 15, 20,000 worth of debit orders, the bank will fund that for 3 months, and then it's in terms of a soft loan sort of a thing, and then you pay back at the interest rate of 7.5%. Government made everything look rosy by 6 months relief, but they conveniently didn't mention the fine print. Says Kritika. Nishi Ansar says hi. 60% rejected by the looks. Somebody needs to do an audit and check what. Yeah. Look, there's somebody who needs to do an audit. It's never gonna fucking happen, Naresh. That's the thing. These cunts get away with shit. They only talk big. And at least I'm telling you on my platform. I mean, other people are doing it and nobody knows. They just fast win. Nobody cares. I'm bringing it to your attention. I tried this shit. I'm a fairly intelligent guy. You know, I've got education. That fucking thing to do all of that is a fucking waste of time, really. And triple BEE. So now my accountant says, do you pay me the fees? I'll do the work. I don't have the money in the first fucking place. How am I going to do that? So must I waste my time sending an application without the financial records, only for government to tell me, oh, well, you didn't have all the documents, so fuck you. Yeah, fuck you very much. These guys only fucking talk big and they give us fuck all, and that's a real story. Anyway, where the hell you get 15K from? That's right, Mark Batten. That's what I'm saying. My accountant says, pay him. I don't know my accountant. Look, I'm not coming down on my accountant. They also make money from people like us. We pay monthly. They budget for 10 clients, paying them $2,000 a month. They get that income. They get income. That's how they get income. I don't blame him. I'm already owing him money. Casey, dig your nose and give the government all the diamonds that you don't have to borrow. It says Muhammad, inshallah, how's it going? Right. But anyway, leaving out of the question, for now, that's my issue, what I'm going through. And our level must be feeling the situation at the moment. Let's talk about Department of Basic Education. Let's hear your views. I'll look at the other way, and more costs will be incurred. That's right. That is correct. let's look at what are your thoughts. Let's hear you say. First of all, does she have a file at council? Does she, had a call from a lady saying she is from FNB asking for ID number for COVID relief. Realized it was a syndicate. Oh wow. Justin said that a call from, by the way, this is a cola tonic my son made for me. Realized it was a syndicate looking for ID numbers to loot. Well, you get everybody there. Nino Dan Nanan says, I submitted all the documents, never had a reply. Well, that's good. Right. Let's start with first asking you, are we ready? Yes or no? Are we ready to, let's take this discussion in a certain way. We'll go each point. Casey, what are you sipping? I just said cola tonic. I knew you'd ask the question, so I answered before you. Cola tonic. Did you open the whiskey yet? By the way, so I had a friend of mine, and I'm this kind of a guy. I'm the type of guy, and he's down the road from me. He hooks me up. He says, "Listen, dude, do you have any alcohol? I'm out of alcohol." And I said, "You're gonna buy because they're gonna kill you the prices." I said, "What do you want? You're looking for Jameson and something?" I said, "Dude, you pay 800,000 in a bottle for Jameson." So he says, "What do you think?" I said, "Listen, if you want, I've got a bottle of J&B, which I was given. I told you guys, and I've got a half a bottle of tequila." He says, "What about you?" I said, "Dude, I've got something. I'm not a drinker, and you in desperate need. I'll give it to you." And he says, "Are you sure?" I said, "Well, I'm telling you, I'll give it." So even when I gave it to him today, now he's promising me after lockdown to buy me a bottle of Johnny Walker Green and a bottle of Jameson. I said, "Why?" He said, "No, because this is gold now. You shouldn't be giving me your stuff." I said, "Fucking take the thing." I said, "If you're a man in need, and I'm not charging you for it. You're a man in need, and I've got stuff, and I don't hoard it for myself." So I gave it to him, and I think he was a bit shocked that I gave it to him. We are not ready to reopen school. Believe me, I'm a teacher, and I know the situation out there. Mark Batten, who's a teacher. By the way, I'm already also online with a teacher, and yeah, I was going to get him online, but I didn't tell him I'm going to get him online. And good evening, Anita. How are you? Dolly Singh says schools should be last open. Why is there? So let me hear your thoughts about opening up. We've got like 20 minutes to go. Yes. Yeah. So what is the need? And somebody tell me, maybe I need to hear differently. So I suppose today, what's the need for opening the school so early? Why are we rushing? Missing something? Somebody tell me, am I missing something that we are rushing to open the school? Why can't it be end of May, even end of May? Why can't it be end of May? The schools are not equipped to deal with social distancing and sanitize. Our kids have not gone out in public to get used to sanitizing, which we get used to. Says Klika, the Department of Education cannot get textbook in stuff to schools in time. PPE, no question. No, Omar is opening of schools is utter bull. So where's my bottles? Casey? He says, Gulab, in that is haram for you, bhai. Don't let the Mulana hear that you're asking for drinks. How does one tell your 7-year-old to keep social distance? So today when I listened to all, by the way, I've got it recorded and I took pictures of it. Let me just try and find it and tell you. So while my son was watching, it's not that it's a bad plan. It's not that it's a bad plan. It's just that I believe these guys are absolute cunts and they will not know how to pull it off. That's my version, right? So there's a couple of points which is fucking it's another story altogether. Anyway, most of you know the basic. What happened here? Most of you know the basic. School should open next year. Transport issue, school. Transport is the other issue. So all of us are sharing the same what you're giving away compared to what we're winning on the quiz. Jackie, yeah. So no COVID plans. Social distancing is going to explode as a bomb. Open testing is far from a quarter of what it should be. Is the transport? Why schools back to June holidays? They're not having the mid-year exam, so without further holidays, they could be able to catch up. How's it, Casey? I'm just reading your comments, by the way, to see where we all stand. They have this beautiful plan. and want parents to support this. Opening schools make the image of the deal look good. That's all they care about. Schools should remain closed. We closed then. We had no deaths. 93 deaths. Correct. So we closed the school and had 0 deaths, and now we've got 93 deaths and we're reopening. Why can we homeschool with 8 of the teachers via WhatsApp for a reminder of the year, excluding essential grades? If schools are not open, why must continue to pay school fees? I was told teachers still need to be paid. Blah blah blah. Casey, I would like to say there'd be no, so I teach great. So Macy, the teacher says, Casey, I would say there will be no social distance for me. Grade 1 teacher. What about my lunch tasks for children? Niroj Murli says, my personal opinion is my kids were still in school. I won't allow them to go. That's the other question I was going to ask you. If you had right now, if the department said to you, we got all these plans in place and we're going to take the strictest measures and we're opening on the 10th of May, 6th of May, what would you do? Niroshni says she won't send her children to school. Also important subject, complete the curriculum, obviously grade 12 to give him special attention, smaller children. So my whole comment on this, and everybody seems to be against it, but the Department of Education seems to think they have this in plan. So I've taken pictures of all the screenshots on the television of all the things they're going to do. These cunts can't organize a piss up in a fucking brewery. That is an absolute fucking fact, right? They can't organize a fucking piss up. There are grand plans and grand schemes. Even one of the plans today was getting water to schools. Schools with water, there are plans to send, fuck off with your fucking water tanker issue, man. The fucking townships have been without water for 26 fucking years since democracy, eh? The water tankers issue will be hijacked by people who fucking making money off the water tankers, eh? Is that what you want to do? They can't even look after the nurse and hospital. How are they going to protect the children? I feel the schooling should be cancelled. Schooling I should cancel. If you don't find a vaccine, I don't trust the government. They're talking cock. The teachers are going to be stressed. Completely, they won't be able to ensure children are safe. Look, teachers. So somebody says to me, by the way, there was a post from somebody, right? So let me just tell you about this post. I think I remember the post. So she says, so listen carefully to this here. I don't have it here. I'm going to paraphrase from what she said, right? If I can find it on my book, I'll try and find it. But I'm going to paraphrase. Professor Janssen was right. Professor Janssen called it right. Professor Janssen said school term is over. Work on a measure. Today, by the way, I don't know whoever was talking, whether it was Jackson and Tembu, when the screens were coming up. He was comparing other countries, how other countries went to school, how other countries did that, and they didn't lock down, they continued school, and when they opened school, fuck off. You can't compare our country to other fucking countries. Come and compare apples to apples. And when I heard that, it was a fucking disgrace. Sweden is comparing us to Sweden. Sweden went back to school, and they didn't have a lockdown. They didn't close the schools. They continued as normal. How can you compare us to other fucking countries? The Department of Education always make conflicting statements. They want 40 per class, social distancing. That's right. How do you get, which fucking moron came up with that? Social distancing, 40 per class. What the fuck? Hey? What the fuck? Social distancing, 40 per class. Hey? Really? Really? Why compare other countries to our? That's right. We got unique problems. We got unique problems that not even to do with government, and they can't put a plan together. 40 schools, someone have been burnt down already. Schools have been vandalized and burnt. Schools don't exist. What are you going to do with that? Schools have no water and sanitation. What are you going to do about that? We are SA, not Europe. That's right, Kuglan. Correct, Jackson himself. I think it was Jackson who was giving the Casey, do you have kids? I have a son who's 14 years old. Thankfully, he's homeschooled. So we're doing work at home. That's a difference. He's been homeschooled. He's been homeschooled for the last 4 years. Jackson M. Tumbus has Saki. Yes, they haven't sorted out the water issue so many years. Don't think they will. They're not going to fucking do it, man. They're not going to fucking do it, man. Then they're going to blame somebody else. Like water, oh, we send the tankers out in there, the council. They're going to blame everybody else. But in the interim, let me know what's going to happen in the interim. In the interim, the money is going to be made. The money, for example, they're saying the schools can have a cleaner with liquids to sanitize and whatever. The fucking liquids will be hijacked, wrong liquid, somebody will supply, will make the money. At the end of the day, the money will be sent out. Whatever it is, the money. Jackson and Tembu even spoke about temporary classes, like, to be moved, like structures, like containers to be moved, fucking grand fucking plans. Jackson will swim on vibrators in schools. I wonder if 33% also accepted in Sweden. Yep, there we go. You mentioned Sweden, you mentioned Singapore. I don't know what the fuck they were on about. Jackson Timbers a Chutia, total propaganda compares other countries, total ruse on his part. Yeah, they're trying to fucking pull over our eyes there. Really can't 33%. Unique problem is that there's a vast difference between the brain cells of those who are suggesting it. They cannot think for people, put them in power. Money is for the hijackers. Yep, money is for the 200 million to municipalities. That's going to get fucking drained. And I, for one, like if I had my son in school, definitely not going to school. By the way, many people on my WhatsApp platforms, whatever, on my Facebook pages have said they would rather sacrifice this year off. Many people have said their children rather repeat grade 8, grade 9, whatever it is, rather repeat a year. And yes, just compared everything to other countries. Jackie, yes, Jesse agrees with me when he was comparing us to all other countries and how they had done things. They got proper fucking people in government, man. They don't have cunts. How many times have I used the word cunt from this morning? Did anybody count? Maybe Facebook is counting, then they fucking block me. Once again, cost involved for extra structures. Who benefits? There you go. Whatever it is, whatever they're suggesting means things need to be rolled out. Water, things, repairs to toilets, repairs to infrastructure, get in the classroom, the sanitizers, the outfits, the masks, all of that is money needs to be spent. Money needs to be. Am I being cynical? Just being the bearer of bad news? Am I just being critical? Am I? I don't know. People might say me that. Those O's must remember they're dealing with Charles. We will run thinking circles around them. I feel the schooling year should be cancelled if I had kids in school. Where is Ravi? Can you please minus 1 point from Ashwin from Yes Sounds? He says, I feel the schooling year, HEAR, year. I feel the schooling year should be. Listen, I fucking Facebook will do predictive text, but they won't fucking predict text that and wrong spelling and all that. Can we please just go back and I just want to make this point here. Can somebody please minus? I know there's no quiz, but can we minus 1 point from Ashwin because he said year, schooling year, as in year. Yeah, the Y. Fuck. 30% is already year from Peter Marisburg. Private schools on children by school less than can be paid. Private schools another level. Okay, they're getting work done, that's for sure. Private schools are getting work. They also need to have the costs and pay. Medical aid, bad. Well, rather sacrifice a year life gonna because the teachers Ashwin need to go to school. Can school just go? They want to give masks to quintile 1 to 3. What about the learners in quintile 4 and 5? Quintile, yeah, state government is on track there with a -1. Listen here. Right, I'm not sending my kids to school. You think one teacher can maintain social distance of 40 kids? Fuck that. One. Look, sometimes even we criticize without knowing. Like we can't talk about the fiscus and the economy. Don't know much, like a lot of things we don't know about. So we can comment without having knowledge, really, like things we don't know. But I think we know a bit more of this education thing. We were in school. We understand takes 40 children in a class. Okay, I was going to tell you about what somebody posted, right? Jessica's holding PMP down. I'll tell you what somebody posted. I can't get a name. Okay, so she used this example. She said, so this is what they were saying. Let the children out. And this is also for why they're saying we must open up the lockdown. More people need to get infected and more people need to be cured to the system. In a nutshell, that's what it is. We need to open up so more people need to get infected. So I said to her, would you do that to your child? Would you allow your child to be used as a pawn to get infected, because children have a higher resilience. Children, and we know that, younger generation have a higher resilience. Assuming they have no other underlying conditions, which sometimes we won't know. So she says, let the children out because they have a higher resilience to the disease, and that's how we're going to break free of down and break the virus and flatten the curve. Let people out. And my first question was, if it was would you take that chance and say, well, let's send the children out. Let's see what happens. Let's go with them as pawns in this game here and see where we go. Give me your thoughts on that first. Well, man, is in PMA, the government office need to go to school. The way I understand this was merely a proposal to the portfolio review parallel. Well, Naresh, I agree with your proposal. They haven't said it's law. They haven't said it's happening. The proposal. But the proposal is for 6th of May. It's next week. Not a proposal for end of May. So which means they're almost in implementation phase. They said, this is the plan. By the way, they're not asking for your permission. Parliament going to say fucking no to this. Storia. Shamini says, she got ditched by everybody from PMB. If government could not contribute to finance, bring Kunta onto the better status, how can they even supply masks? Me too. But we shouldn't tell even one because of Ashwin. Right, so tell me if you think this argument is right, that kids are smaller, more immune to the disease, that if we send them out, if they get the disease, then they won't be affected. Or the recovery is easier. Let me get your comment first on that. What do you think of that argument? That kids are more resilient? It's not like we're sending old age people out there. For special needs children, how would they ever get them to wear a mask? Where there's smoke, there's fire. This is their plan. Darling, you're sitting in Joburg. Keith says, no Bala, I'll ever send my children out. They must get the vaccine first. Right, so that's some of the comments saying that we shouldn't be sending our children out, whatever. And then the other thing is, she says, okay, children are resilient. And then I said, okay, let's say children are resilient to COVID-19, they won't contract. But if a child contracts the virus, we know it takes 14 days incubation period. If a child contracts the virus or touches something with their clothes, take the virus and goes to school, that's the other thing, right? Let me talk about that. When they say we go to the shop, we must go with a certain set of clothes. When we come back, we must take our shoes out, take our jacket out, take our beef out, leave it all one side, wash it separately, burn it if you have, then come in the house, have a bath and put something else on. Now we're sending children to school with their jackets and their bags and everything. And even the virus can be caught in your ear. And here's my thing, even if children are resilient, children must come home. Children must come home to their parents who could be older, who could have underlying health problems, or their grannies, grandfathers, grandparents, aunties who are older, because we live in communal families in Chatsworth and in Phoenix and wherever, or even in Joburg, if that's so maybe the case. I'm talking about township life especially. And then doesn't that stand the risk of you, or they stand the risk of then infecting older people in the family, like the grannies? Doesn't that make sense? Am I off the topic here? That's what they say. Everyone has to get sickness. That's what they say. Everyone has to get a sickness. That's also an argument. I don't know about that argument there. Alok Karo says, Moidin Hussain, then kids must go teach themselves at school. Anyone can get affected. Can anyone out there see the children in pain? I can't. She's dreaming, says Mark Batten. Lazarus says, Minister of Education will make a statement tomorrow regarding this. It'll be foolish to open school now. Well, in the first place, if it's foolish to open and people are saying they're still pondering about it, why are they talking about 6th of May? What the fuck is 6th of May? Who came up with that shit plan to open the 6th of May? What's a fucking hurry? Because the kids can get disease, spread it to the family. How are we going to solve it? That's what I'm saying. Kids can pick up the infection, carry the disease with them in their bags, on their clothing, on their shoes, take it to them when nobody... By the way, when a child does get infected, they quarantine that child. Now you're going to take your child and quarantine the child where? In their own home. It's bullshit. Everyone needs to take the precautionary measures. Wouldn't risk the life of my child. You're still wearing a brief, says Justin Chetty. People have been reinfected in other countries of recovering. Karo, as you said, about underlying health issues. Manogra Naidu, Vishal Rampas, what about the children go to school and contract the virus but are not affected because the immune system is good enough, but they don't stay in the school, they're coming home where? That's right. That's what I was saying. They might not stand a chance. They're infecting other people. But is it that we're not health officials? Are we stupid people, or we don't understand things? Maybe they understand things better than us. I don't know. Maybe we're being too simplistic or too alarmed No, you're right, says Jackie. Dino says, good point, KC, but latest studies have proven that kids are prone to be infected in different ways. That's also true. Kids have been infected. Opening in winter, that's madness. Well, try and tell our government that, please, not judging. Many of the kids come from poor communities, depending on meals at schools. Low immune systems, how the hell will they be stronger and resilient to this? That is all the point. And Jackie says the same thing. Like I said, what is the fucking hurry? Why? We can't wait until level 4. Did you see the video about Isipingo? Everybody's business as usual. Chacho does the same thing. Chacho sent us a picture of the car park. Chacho Center is packed like fucking December. It's fucking packed. Everybody's in Chacho Center, right? And I don't have kids. I feel for all your parents very concerned. It says Shamani Naidu. Homeschooling is the way I like you doing. I'd rather have my children repeat the year instead of having him sick. And as a general consensus, to basically parents are saying, I'd rather have my child repeat a year than take a risk. Repeat the year. Why can't my son, as a simplistic human being, I'm not a health official, I'm not a doctor like Zweli Kize, I'm not a Kosa Zuma, neither am I Angie Mocheka, whatever knows of, or Bladen Zamande. By the way, they know about education. This made the ministers. Bladen Zamande came from everywhere else. The Minister of Education, higher education. I want to say, if you want to know schools and whatever, I think the most important grade, if I had to call this out, I would say the most important grade is 12, the matrics. Matrics need to go into university, right? So I would call the grade 12s most important here. So if we had to go back to school, why don't we send the grade 12s first? Send the grade 12s. Now remember, we got very few kids, only grade 12s. You got all the classrooms available, right? They are also adults. They're like 17, 18 years old. Some of matric are 20 years old. They can understand better, right? And I think let's put them in school. Let's separate the teachers so we can have like 10 per class and try and get the matrics through the year to get in university, right? And then we leave the rest and we start again next year. On the other hand, you have some parents complaining that kids are missing out on work, must go to school. Other than you have parents complaining. Yeah, I'm sure there will be parents like that who are complaining, and some parents want to get rid of kids because they go back to work. So what do they do with the kids? But do you sacrifice? So we haven't considered that. There are parents going back to work, and then the kids need to be somewhere. But is that a choice you will make? Is that age? And is that a choice that your employer will force you to do? Sacrifice your kids. When I say sacrifice, you know what I mean? For the money. Is that the choice? I'm the only one that can score, even if there is no question. That is quite correct, Ashwin. Repeat the year, rather child gets to hospital. Do you try to please a 2 years child? Vinesh and Steven, they are dumb. None of the ministers' kids go to schools. They have idea. Yes, they have no idea. They're like so government, even Cyril Ramaphosa, he's like so aloof, like he doesn't understand what is really happening on the ground. I think they have no fucking clue, to be honest. It's like how you and I don't know what really happens in a township, right? This is on a much higher level, right? Like you and I don't really know what happened. I know a bit because I've been in the township. Some people have no idea. They have some clue, but don't really feel it. Kritika says, from the amount of work we are getting from the schools, it looks like we're getting terms 2 and 3 work to deal with before school opens. So when the kids go back, most of them will be knowledgeable and teachable, given those that have access to work. Marilyn Besessa says, hi. Jackie says, they also said no more 40 in a class with us. That's the thing we spoke about. 40 in a class. SARTU blocked opening of schools next week. That's right. I think if she says SARTU block, I think SARTU played a big role in this matter here, because remember, Department of Basic Education was supposed to have a ministerial meeting on Saturday to brief the public. They moved it to Monday. Then they moved it to Tuesday. Then they moved it to Wednesday. It's because SARTU gave them 14 conditions in this morning's news. I heard they gave them 14 conditions before schools could be opened. Casey, do you think we'll have to wait for a vaccine, which is the only safe way? I think the only safe way for us and our kids is to ride out the year, is to ditch the year, give it up, can't work, and let's see where the virus takes. We have to. The plan now is to ditch the year, ditch it. It's gone. We lost this year. From amount of work we're getting from schools, feels like I'm in school. Says Google Munsami. I don't have kids in school, as I don't know. Michael said my son is homeschooled. He's trying to catch up his work because he's been fucking around for most of the month since the beginning of the year. Heading for doomsday. So let me give you another scenario, another synopsis. Right. I'm going to try and find this thing on Facebook if I can. I'm going to give you another scenario. Okay, we know it's a fuck up, right? No one's going to fucking go there, right? Let me see this latest comment. Yeah, it's not there. Give me a few minutes. Give me a minute or so. I'll tell you where I'm going with this. I'm going to find this guy. I'm trying to find this guy's comments. Right, this guy's name is Doc Human there.
So really what we looked for was a space.
So by the way, I'm trying to find a post for you, which so let me just give you this version. Where are we going to a quiz? Not to a quiz. I'm just gonna give you this. Read this. This guy's name is Doc Human. You must go onto his page. He says, listen to this. Anyone out there is by the way, he's part of SAMA. I think he's got a position in the South African Medical Association. He says, anyone out there still think we're gonna dodge this bullet? For perspective, around 400 of our 100,000 beds are occupied by COVID-19 cases. Time to open the sluice gates. So I need you to understand this, if you can. There is a theory in terms of opening the lockdown, and so he says there are 100,000 beds available, right? Only 400 are being used by COVID-19 patients. They're saying that I moved away from education now, right? Keith says Doc Human is a Sakraj. I don't know. Maybe he's a Sakraj. Is he a Sakraj? I don't know. Why you say that? Tell me why you say that. So he says it's time to open the sluice gates a bit. Let's hear what replying to Gulam, dog bounty hunter. Who are you talking about? You saying this guy's a cunt? Maybe, if that's what you say. I've been following his post, not the cuntish post by him, but Doc Human is a sluice gate himself. Why you say that? Why you say he's a sluice gate? What do you mean by that? Let's get your version. So this thing about opening the sluice gate was mentioned by other people as well. I'm not saying I conform to it. I just had open mind as to what they're saying. So let's hear what where are the beds available? The beds are available in all the hospitals. We're hunting Casey. Hunting what? Tell us what you mean by Doc Human is a sluice gate himself. Keith Moneyflow, tell me what you know about Doc Human and his theories. By the way, he's anti the Cuban doctors. He's orthopedic. He's a former surgeon at Hani. Went to St. Sithian, lives in Joburg. Former surgeon at Chris Hani, Baragwanath. He's an orthopedic surgeon at Olivedale. Go back to stage 5. Where is this fucking Keith Moneyflow talking about Doc Human is a sluice gate? Why you said that? And what makes you say that? KC cancel the year but give LFC the league. Right? I think that's not going to happen, by the way. So, yeah, he's also not in favor of the Cuban doctors that are coming here. He says there's a magnet, but see me in the day, I've just forgotten about.
Accommodate the numbers that we need in one place so that we can have health personnel and everybody working in one space.
Go ahead and read his comments. Chris Josh says no way, is back to stage 5, government messed up. I think we'll probably end. I don't think we need to go back to stage 5. I think they're opening the sluice gates. What they mean by opening the sluice gates is that they need to get more people infected to move it along for whatever reason. There's an argument method to that madness. Beds are not as important as ventilators. We only have 3,000 ventilators. Where does fucking Keith Moneyflow fucked off? He makes a comment and he fucks off. I hate that when somebody says something, then I engage you and then you fuck off. Keith Moneyflow, Perumal, and also Gerard Ali made comments about this guy, Doc Human, and then they fucked off. Right. Anyway, we leave it there for tonight. We're 40 minutes into the program. We started with 30 minutes. We discussed the Department of Basic Education, and I think basically if you have kids, fucking keep them at home. If you can afford, not afford to keep them home, can you afford? Let's look at affordability. You working, you don't want to look after your kids. Would you send your? Is that a reason to send your child to school? I don't know. You tell me. Tasveer Singh is, if you had to choose the loss of 5% population or pay for vaccines for the entire population, what would you choose? Rhetorical question. If you had to choose the loss of 5% of the population or pay for vaccines for the entire population, what would you choose? Why is it a rhetorical question? Right? Why is it a rhetorical question? So basically, some people are saying, and as the lady who said, send the kids to school, open up the economy, allow people to get infected. This is what the theory is, allow more people to get infected so they can be treated and we can start killing them. That's the theory. So if that's the case, then America got it right. America didn't fucking shut down the economy. America didn't shut down the country. America allowed it to run its course. 50,000 people are dead. But is that 50,000 amongst 3.4 billion or whatever, 345 billion people? What's the population? There will be a flood of infection on stage 4. Vishal says, but it's like halfway on your down a parachute, and because it helps you slow down, you fall and throw it away. I won't send my kids to school, says Ashwin of Yes Sounds. I'd rather have a dorm lighty than a dead one. Wow, very profound words there, Vinesh, and I suppose very true as well. He says, I'd rather have a dorm lighty than a dead one. I don't think he means that he'll be dumb. What he's obviously saying is, if he's supposedly less educated, hard immunization, 365 million in USA, yeah, and 50,000 deaths. That's about less than 1%. I'll send you the percentage. Less than 1% of the population. Ventilators cost 150,000 each. 365 million in USA, says Rizwan Ghani. What's 50,000 of that? Less than 1%. One life loss is too much. It could have been prevented. Well, but you're making a call on a death. Yes, what I said. They're saying let the people get the virus and die. That's what they are doing. Then send the adults so the kids can go back once the peak is over. Well, those are the various pros and cons. Maybe we don't know enough. Maybe we're talking out of our ass. We don't know anything. But I think children and schools, definitely for me, is a no. I think a lot of parents, I don't think people can force you to send your kids to school if you don't want your kids to school. By the way, let me tell you, Vinesh didn't mean what he said in the child being dumb. And I was talking yesterday about this, and he's homeschooling. We jipper homeschooling. I'll be honest with you, we jipper. We don't do everything what they say. Because in my version, and I've said this before on my platform, there's a difference between schooling your child and educating your child. There's a very big difference between schooling your child and educating your child. My son is getting a bit of schooling, but I like to think I'm educating him. I educate him on anything and everything, even though he doesn't realize it. He doesn't realize when I'm forcing him to do something, or we do something, or we go somewhere, or talk. Like even now in the business of the masks, he takes calls, he answers calls. At 14 years old, he's dealing with people running companies, taking numbers. It's a skill he doesn't even know that he's learning. Caro, love your hat. Thank you so much. As Shabir, understand what Dinesh was trying to say. Open some businesses, leave school close. So even if your child is at home, and maybe consider, by the way, homeschooling is the way to go. You can do it. And next year, that's always my plan, was to open a homeschool center, right? Homeschooling is the way to go. It's proven around the world. Homeschoolers are more educated in that sense, if you can make him. That's what Kuglin is saying. Make him. Yeah, no, Vinesh, don't need to explain yourself. We understand your point. Make him smart. That's what he's saying. That's what I'm doing. I've been educating him on life, trying to educate him on life. In fact, if my son, I'll be honest, I haven't even told him this. If he doesn't pass matric, I don't fucking care. He doesn't need to have a metric certificate. He's not going to university, right? He's not the most smartest academic, so university is out. But I want to make him street smart, that he must, by 18 years old, he must be able to run his own business or know how to run a business or whatever. Because I'm not going to spend 5-6 years in a fucking college education for fucking rioting, striking, burning, looting, losing life there in fucking bullying and whatever. You know, he needs to be street smart. He needs to run a business and he needs to be self-supportive. That's what he needs to do. I'm not fucking interested in education as the government is giving me. I don't need to hear about fucking history of fucking Jan Beck and whatever. I mean, not fucking difference in his life. Tukamela Tate and Verleda Tate and Ankara McKenna and all that fucking thing. Who fucking cares? How much does he do? Why must he break his head about learning about all of that? That's all fucking irrelevant. School of Hard Knocks says this. That's right. He's going to be in the School of Hard Knocks with your swearing. How are you educating him? He fucking learns. By the way, my son has been hearing me swear from the age of 2-3 years old in my shows. He's never once used a swear word. In fact, to such an extent that when he was 6 years old or whatever, and 7 years old, and he would hear people saying words, he would say, Dad, he used the bad word. I said, what word, son? He said, the bad word. I said, what word, son? The bad word. He would never say it, never, till now, never said it. And I share a sentiment that all kids are A students. Yep, he's not an A student. And the thing about not saying the bad word or whatever, I grew up, I lost my dad when I was in class standard 1, grade 3 now. I lost my dad, I entered standard 1 and I lost my dad. And I grew up without a father, actually, without a father, right? Still, I was a straight A student. I was a top 3 student. I went to university, whatever, right? We'll talk about that now. Where was I getting with him? And I had a point I was trying to get in fucking back. In terms of, I forgot what I was going to say. A good doctor can never be a good builder. One can get certificate for swearing. Street smart. That's the route I took in life. Yep, street smart is the way he should be. So I'm educating him to be that way, to be independent and learn as you go. Oh, but swearing and all of that. Yeah, so I grew up this way. I had the keys to my house when I was in standard 5. Keys to my house. We used to go out, mobile disco, whatever. Standard 6, keys to my house. And I'm of the belief this way. So I'll use this example as we close the show, just so you can understand. When I was in matric and after matric, I had friends who were kept very tight, boys, kept very tight by their parents, right? Always what they do, how they're behaving. But me, I had the keys to my house when I was standard 6. I was exposed to drink alcohol from standard 7, standard 8, but never drank, never smoked. Started drinking after school. And when I went out with my friends at a club would fucking go ballistic. They would get pissed out of their minds, right? But I never got pissed out of my mind. The reason was I was exposed to all these things very early in my life. I was exposed to it. So when I was released, so I was never released like them. They were like caged dogs that were released. Now when they're released that one night, they fucking get pissed out of their mind. And that's the thing I don't want for my son. I want to show him, by the way, my son at about 8 years old, 9 years old, sipped Jameson, he sipped tequila, Red Square. He said, Dad, what is that? I said, Red Square, and taste. When he smoked a cigar, he said, what is that? Dad, I said, cigar, yes, the son, smoke. And I give him everything. If we're having a drink and a taste, that's why he won't steal my drink and drink, because I gave him whiskey to taste. I said, taste it, taste wine, taste it. Cigarette, yeah, smoke. Then he doesn't want it because he's been I remember when he performed at your shows, can't believe he's 14. Casey, you was the mother top dude. Jan van Riebeck also by University, helped me a lot. So I believe in not holding your children back, giving them things to do, letting them learn, fall down, wake up. School of Hard Knocks is what you were saying. Anyway, that's my topic for my I'm done for tonight. Shamini remembers when Karo, he performed at 11 years old. He started his career at 11, he retired at 12. Yeah, that's him. He started at 11, he retired at 12. Doesn't want to do comedy anymore. You know, kids when they're teenagers and their teenage years, they have their own versions of doing things. Right, show is done for tonight. A lot of things we said about the Department of Basic Education and where we go, causing consternation or worrying among parents. And yeah, let's see where we go for what these fuckers say. Why didn't you adopt me? It said Gerard Ali. Well, If your name was Ryan Ali instead of Gerard Ali, or David Ali, as in David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, but you were Steven Gerrard, and that's a fucking problem for me, because I want my son to be a winner, not a fucking loser for 30 years. Let's end it there, guys. Thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. There was no quiz today. We'll try and do a quiz tomorrow. Let's see. Tomorrow I might not do the morning feed. Let's see how it goes. I've got a busy day tomorrow. I'll try. I got my masks, about 5,000 masks. I've got customers to see. For the first time in all this time, I'm going to start to generate some revenue, some much needed revenue for me. Finally, something is coming my way. So I've got orders down. I've got people wanting orders, and that's so I want to be able to generate some income tomorrow. If I do the day morning, I might not do the evening, because obviously I might be going out delivering stock, whatever. Good talk this evening, Casey. Going now to finish my wine. Finish your wine, Kruglen. Who won today? Today winner is Ashwin from Yash Sounds on -1. Give a round of applause. Ashwin is the only one on the scoreboard. Ashwin from what sounds? PMB Sounds. Yeah, Ashwin from Yash Sounds. He's got -1. He's the only one with a point on the system. So he won with -1. In fact, the first time he's ever won in this fucking program. And yeah, so we'll try the morning. If I do the morning, I might not do the evening. Thank you guys for joining me on the program, and have yourselves a good evening. Sleep tight, and we'll catch you in the morning. And say good night, guys. Anderson Naika said that's good. Good luck with the sales. Hope you rock it. Well, some things are going right for me, and I even said to other guys who are entrepreneurs, use this. So use this period to find ways to make money. Find ways. You gotta be creative. You gotta think out the box. I'm not here to sit and cry about my situation. I'm here to fucking make it work. In fact, make it the best year of my life if I can. That's the goal. Let's see where we go. Do old school music. We'll try old school tomorrow. Good luck, bro. You deserve it. Thank you, Chris, Joshua. Let's see we go for that. Good support coming through for me. Don't forget to join my KC and the Sunshine Band WhatsApp group. See, Kritika has posted the number there. We only want BFOC people on the group there, please. Yash says thank you. We'll send the certificate to Yash. Kritika, please print the certificate, please, for Yash. All for his mind. 1 point there. And yeah, Kritika will print the certificate and get it to you. You guys have yourselves a fantastic evening, and good night. Remember to always keep it mother. That's right. It's trying to end.